The Queers versus. The Mr. T experience punk rock's true glory in a fight to the death. Alright, punks. It's that time again and we've got a special treat tonight. It's not just a battle of music, it's a battle of survival. You know M, you love M, and tonight they're fighting to the death. It's the Queers versus. The Mr. T experience. It's not about who plays faster. It's not about who wrote the catchiest hook. It's about who can fight, who can survive, and who's going to keep their punk crown after this blood-soaked showdown. But this ain't your typical mosh pit, folks. Things got personal when Wimpy Rutherford said something no punk band should ever say, "Toast sucks." And now we've got one hell of a fight on our hands. Buckle up because this one's gonna be brutal. Let the games begin. The trash-strewn back alley of punk rock Wimpy Rutherford stands atop a pile of smashed amps and empty beer cans, holding a bottle of beer high in the air. The remnants of both bands gather in the dim, flickering light of a nearby neon sign. The smell of sweat, gasoline, and fried food hangs in the air. Wimpy grins smugly, his teeth glinting. Wimpy Rutherford, yelling to the crowd, raising his bottle, "Punk rock girls? Yeah, I like M more than beer, that's for sure." The crowd cheers, a few people slam their fists into the air. Wimpy Rutherford mockingly, "But toast? Now that's a crime. Toast sucks." A low growl can be heard from the shadows. Dr. Frank from the Mr. T experience steps forward, his face twisted with rage. His eyes burn with anger. Dr. Frank shouting, furious, "You dare disrespect Toast? I've had enough of this crap." Wimpy laughing, taking a swig of his beer, "Toast is garbage, Frank. Everyone knows it. You can't fight that fact." Dr. Frank snapping, "No one insults Toast and gets away with it, Wimpy. You're going down now." Dr. Frank suddenly lunges at Wimpy, throwing the first punch. The crowd roars as the fight begins. Both bands eager to join in the carnage. Wimpy versus Dr. Frank. Wimpy takes a step back, narrowly avoiding Frank's punch. His beer bottle smashes against the ground, shattering. Wimpy, chuckling, "You think this is enough, Frank? You can't stop me with anger alone." With a vicious grin, Wimpy lunges forward, grabbing a jagged piece of broken glass from the ground and swings it at Dr. Frank's face. Frank dodges, but the glass slices across his cheek. Dr. Frank, grimacing, enraged, "You bastard. Let's see how you handle some real punk fury." Dr. Frank pulls out a stack of burnt toast, throwing them like frisbees. The toast flies through the air, one landing squarely in Wimpy's face, blinding him momentarily. Wimpy, grabbing at the toast, muttering, "Seriously? Toast? That's your weapon." Wimpy throws the toast to the ground, cracking his neck and charging forward. He tackles Dr. Frank to the ground, lifting him up by the collar and throwing him into a pile of old speakers. Wimpy, snarling, "Punk rock's about real passion. Frank, not this limp-dick Toast BS." In a brutal move, Wimpy grabs a broken guitar neck from the wreckage and shoves it through Dr. Frank's stomach, pushing it deep into his core. Wimpy, panting, looking down at Frank's bloodied body. "You had it coming, Frank. I told you Toast sucks." After Frank is guitar skeletonized, impaled on the broken neck, his body twitching before falling limp. Joe Queer versus Aaron Cometbus. Aaron Cometbus steps forward with drumsticks in hand, a grin of determination on his face. Joe Queer cracks his knuckles and takes a ready stance. Joe grinning, "You ready to feel the wrath of the Queers, Cometbus? I don't need Toast to beat you." Cometbus laughing, "I've been waiting for this moment. I'll show you how a real punk band handles things." Joe pulls out his trusty guitar, swinging it with precision. Aaron dodges and quickly retaliates with a swift drumstick jab, narrowly missing Joe's face. Joe, mocking, "Is that the best you got, drummer boy?" Aaron spins his sticks, keeping Joe at bay with brutal precision. He jabs them into Joe's ribs, making Joe wince in pain. Joe, growling, "You want to throw sticks at me? You better be ready to handle a real guitar." Joe steps forward, slamming his guitar into Aaron's shoulder, knocking him back a few paces. He laughs maniacally. Joe, mocking, "How's it feel to be smashed by punk rock greatness?" Aaron grimaces, spins in a circle, and delivers a devastating strike, hitting Joe directly in the throat with his drumsticks. Joe stumbles back, gasping for air. Commabus with the smirk, you punked out, Joe. Time for the final beat. Aaron spins and delivers a finishing blow. He pierces Joe's neck with his drumsticks, blood pouring out like a broken faucet. Joe Queer is drummed out of existence. His head slumps forward, blood pooling around him. The battlefield, littered with broken instruments, empty cans, and the remains of both bands. Wimpy Rutherford stands triumphantly over Dr. Frank's lifeless body, wiping blood from his hands. Wimpy, grinning, wiping his brow, I told you. You don't mess with the queers. And now Toast is forever dead. Just then, the sound of footsteps approaches. Out of the shadows steps Dr. Frank's bandmates, their faces twisted with rage. Commabus from the Mr. T Experience steps forward, his drumsticks raised, ready for vengeance. Commabus, growling, you think you've won, this battle isn't over. A figure steps out of the shadows, Wimpy's arch-nemesis, Wimpy Rutherford's rival Lagwagon and NoFX finally arrived at Boston. Joey Cape sneering, so, you think you can just walk away from all this, Wimpy? You took down Frank. You took down Joe. But now it's our turn. Fat Mike cracks his knuckles and shakes his head, his eyes burning with rebellious fire. Fat Mike, mockingly. You really thought you were gonna get out of this unscathed, huh? Nah, you're not off the hook just yet. We've got unfinished business. And tonight, we settle it. The queers are about to get a reality check. Wimpy, laughing, still holding his beer bottle confidently. You guys? You really think I'm scared of a couple of wannabe punks? Please, you can bring your best. But there's only one true punk band left standing, the queers. Wimpy steps forward, ready to take them on. But the tension in the air thickens as Lagwagon and NoFX prepare for battle. Fat Mike pulls out a broken, twisted guitar and twirls it in his hands like a weapon, while Joey Cape unsheathes a sharpened drumstick, preparing to strike. Wimpy, raising his beer bottle with a smirk. You think I don't know what happens next? You'll all end up just like Frank and Joe. Toast is the real killer here, and you're about to find out. Just when you thought the dust had settled, a new challenger steps into the ring. Joey Cape, Fat Mike, and Dr. Frank have returned, and they're not done fighting. Will Wimpy Rutherford's reign as punk royalty end tonight? Tune in next time for the most insane battle yet. Find out next time on Anarchy Airwaves, where punk never dies and the fight never ends.
Anarchy Airwaves is a wild, high-energy radio show that brings the chaos and intensity of punk rock to the airwaves.